How are you all? I hope you all are going very good. Today, students, we are here to explore the very first chapter of class 5th science, that is about flower, the beautiful part of plants. Okay, so students, in this session today, we are going to learn and explore the very beautiful, wonderful, brightful, and also the reproductive part of the plant, the very important part of the plant known as flower. Okay, what special features do the plants, do the flowers have which make them reproductive part of the plant, that we are going to learn in this chapter. Okay, so let's start the topic. And the uh, topics which we are going to cover in this session is, that is, structure of flower, types of flowers, pollinators, and also the concept of pollination. Okay, see, first of all, you have to do what? You have to match these flowers with their plants. So, as you can see, this is what? This is lotus flower. Okay, so we'll match it with this plant. This is rose, which will be matched to this plant. Okay, and this is hibiscus, will be uh, matched with this plant. All right. See, so students, as we all know that plants are very important for us. They are very essential. Why? Because almost every other living organism, whether it is human being or the animals, they are dependent on the plants only to live and to grow. Now, what plant provides to us? Plants provide you, students, food to eat, oxygen to breathe, and also the fibers for clothes. Along with that, the plants provide us wood so that we could make furniture. And also, some plants have medicinal values due to which they are used for making medicines also. So, from here, what we conclude is that plants are very important to us as they provide you many useful things which we use on a daily basis. Now, next, they have given you some common characteristics of plants. Number one, see, some of the plants show movement just like animals. What they're saying that there are some plants which show the movements just like animals only. As we all know that plants are fixed at a place, right? But still they show some types of movements. How? Like shoots. If we talk about shoots, the above part of the plant, it grows upwards, while the underground part of the plant, known as roots, grows and spread under the ground. Okay. Then after that, the opening and closing of petals. Okay, the flowers, flowers have petals, like, and those petals opening and closing is also a kind of movement only, which is visible in the flowers. Secondly, plants breathe in carbon dioxide and release oxygen through the stomata present in the leaves. This we have discussed in some of our previous session also, that plants part known as leaves have tiny openings or the small pores on the underside surface of their leaves, and these tiny pores are known as stomata. Okay, these stomata are the only site through which the plants take in carbon dioxide from the air and release oxygen back into the air. Okay, third, plants are sensitive towards light. How? You must have seen the flower of a sunflower plant. Okay, you have seen the flower of a sunflower plant. It typically faces its face towards the sunlight or the light which is generated by the sun. Next, plants have a life cycle. Means what? They grow from a very small seed to large big trees. And then after reaching to a certain age, they eventually die. Next, Plants make their own food. This we all know that they are the only living organisms which can prepare their own food by using sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, and nutrients, minerals which are present in the soil. And their food making process is known as photosynthesis. All right. Next, plants excrete water vapor and oxygen. Very important, means what? These plants excrete some waste products also, which are not more required by them, like they excrete water vapor, oxygen. And similarly, animals also excrete waste products such as carbon dioxide, urine, etc. All right. Now, an amazing fact have been discussed over here, that reproduction. What is it? Students, reproduction is a kind of life process. Okay. And it is a process by which plants multiply. They can produce more of their own kind. Such a type of process is known as reproduction. And if we talk about plants, then in plants, reproduction takes place mainly by the seeds, but in some plants, it takes place by their spores and vegetative propagation method also. Okay. Now next we are going to talk about structure of flower. You can see this is the structure of a flower, and in this the main parts of the flower have been shown you, that is a male and female part. You can see this part, this is known as pedicel, okay, and then this whole part, this is the whole female part of a flower, which is composed of three parts. That this part, the above part, is known as stigma. This long tube-like structure is known as style, and this swollen structure at the base is known as ovary. Inside this ovary, they have tiny eggs known as ovules. Okay. Then these beautiful part, the flat part, is known as the petals. And this whole part of the plant is known as the male part of the flower. Now, this male part of the flower is also composed of two main parts. This above part, in which there are the male reproductive cell of the plant known as pollens. They are stored in this part only, which is known as anther. And again, the anther also has a tube-like structure known as filament. Okay. Then this part which protects or surrounds the ovary, this is known as sepal. So this is how the structure of a flower looks like. Now let's discuss all of them one by one. First of all, we are going to talk about male part. And male part of the flower is known as stamen. See, the male part of a flower is stamen, and as I told you, it is made up of two further part, that is filament and anther. Then again, it is the pollen producing parts of the flower. Means what? This anther and filament all together produces pollen grains inside the flower. And these pollen grains are the only one which get fertilized with the ovules present inside the female part of a flower. Okay. See, we will discuss this further. The number of stamens is usually the same as the number of petals. Okay. The number of stamen present in a flower will be equal to the number of petals present in that particular flower. Now, as we all know, this anther and filament all together make what? Stamen. Right? So, first of all, anther, what is it? It is a part of stamen that produces and contains pollen. Like this, our what? Stamen looks like. So, this part is known as what? Anther. And this tube part is known as filament. Okay. So, this anther part produces and contains pollen, and it is usually on a top of long stalk like this. This is a long stalk on which top is this anther part. and it looks like a fine hair. Next, we have filament. What is it? This is a fine hair-like stalk only, which holds the anther upwards. Okay. Next, we have the female part, which is known as pistil. Means what? The female part of the flower is the pistil. And it is made of three further parts, that is stigma, style, and ovary. First of all, we have stigma. So the uppermost part, this is how the female part of the flower is known as. I will show you like this. Okay. Somewhat like this. So this upper part is known as stigma. What does it know? Stigma. The uppermost part of the pistil is called stigma. It is kind of sticky bulb which is visible at the center of a flower. Okay. What does it do? It traps and holds the pollen, and then pollen germinates on the stigma only. Right? This is stigma. Then this part is style, and the swollen part is ovary. And inside ovary we have what? Ovules. And this all together, this whole is known as pistil. Okay? See, style. Style is a long tube-like structure. This structure, which structure? This part is known as style. And this style only holds up the stigma upwards. It leads down to the ovary that contains ovule. Okay? It leads down, that means towards its down position, there is a swollen structure known as ovary, and inside the ovary, the flowers have ovules. Ovary is usually situated at the bottom of the flower, right? At the bottom of the flower, there is ovary, and inside this ovary, what are there? There are seeds present inside it, which turns into fruits. Then ovule is the part of the ovary only which becomes seed afterwards. Now, they have discussed you some other parts of the flowers also, like they have petal. What are petal? The bright colored part of the flower. They are known as petals. What does they do? They attract the pollinators, the agents which helps to pollinate. Okay, so these pollinators are being attracted towards the petals only, like insects and human beings. And this is the reason why we buy and enjoy flowers. Then next we have what? Sepal. Sepal is a small and green part that has leaf-like structure at the base of a flower. What they're saying, that the small and the green part which is present at the base of a flower, that is known as sepal. Okay. What does it do? It covers the outside of a flower bud. Outside of a flower bud is being covered by the sepal, and also the sepal protects the flower before it blooms. Alright. So now, next we are going to talk about the types of flower. So first of all, we have an imperfect flower. What is an imperfect flower? The flower which has only one sexual part. That means either the male or the female. Alright. So either the male part, that is stamen, or the female part, that is pistil. So the type of flower which has only one sexual part inside it will be known as an imperfect flower, or we also call it unisexual flower. For example, the flowers of cucumber, papaya, melons, all these are the unisexual or imperfect flower. Next we have what? Perfect flower. The flower which has both the male and the female parts in the same flower. Means the type of flower in which both the reproductive parts are present together. That is the male part and also the female part. Such a type of flower is known as perfect flower, or we could also call it bisexual flower, right? For example, rose flower, lily flower, dandelion flower, okay, hibiscus, which is also known as China rose, all these are bisexual flowers. All right. Now, the next topic which we have is pollinators. What are these pollinators? They are the medium that carries the pollen from one flower to the another. Means the agents, the factors which are responsible for carrying the pollen grains from one flower to the another are known as what? Pollinators. For example, bats, bees, hummingbirds, butterflies, all these are some common animal pollinators. Alright? By visiting flowers in search of food, usually these pollinators visits the flower in search of food, that is nectar and pollen. And by this, these pollinators helps in the reproduction of most of the flowers. Okay? Now let's discuss about all these pollinators one by one. First of all, we have what? Bats. You can see this is a bat which is helping in what? The pollination process. So these pollinators are attracted to flowers that are white or pale in color. Means bats as a pollinator are usually attracted to such type of flowers which are either of white color or pale in color. Those flowers should be large in size and also they have a very strong fruit-like fragrance. So such type of flowers are usually responsible for attracting the bats as a pollinator. Next we have what? Bees and wasp. These are also a kind of pollinator only, animal pollinator. What they do need? They need very high energy and they prefer those flowers which are very bright colored, full of nectar and are sweetly aromatic. Okay. Now next we have what? Beetles. Beetle, you can see in this picture, this is a beetle which is a kind of animal pollinator only. What does it do? It feeds on the flowers which have lots of pollen. Okay. The flowers which are usually dull white or green in color and they have very mild odor, right? Such type of flowers attracts the beetles. And they also eat garden pest. Very important to know that beetles also eat garden pest also. All right. Next we have hummingbird. This is the hummingbird. These birds also gets attract towards the flowers, but they will get attract towards those flowers which are bright and which open during the daytime. Okay. So hummingbirds prefer those flowers which have very little or no odor. And their diet is 90% nectar which they get from the flowers only. Again, an amazing fact that if we were not for pollinators, okay, there would be no chocolate from cocoa tree. What they're saying is that if there were no pollinators in our nature, then there would be no chocolate from the cocoa tree which we commonly eat. Next pollinator is flies. Flies, there are more than 100 crops that depend on regular visits from fly pollinators. What they're saying that more than 100 crops are there which are dependent on the regular visits from the fly pollinators. Means what? That these fly prefer the kind of flowers which are stinky, which are pale, dull or drab in color. Okay. Next we have moths. Moths are also the pollinators only, but they work at the night time. And they prefer the flowers which are shaped like landing pads. Okay. Visiting flowers in the dark means these moths usually visit the flowers in the dark time and they usually attract towards a strong, sweet and scented nighttime blooming flowers which are muted in color. Okay. So these were the different types of pollinators. And now next we come to the topic that is pollination. What is it? See, so as we have discussed that both male and female parts of a flower, We have discussed about them. So these male and female parts of a flower, both of them all together make a new seed. And through this new seed only, the new plant grows out of it. Okay? As we have discussed that there are some plants which have both, that is the male and female parts together present in them, and they were known as perfect or bisexual flowers, right? So the male part of the flower, the male part, that means the stamen part of the flower, makes pollen, and the female means the pistil part of the flower makes egg. Now, as we know that there is a sugary sweet nectar also, a kind of substance which is sugary, sweet, known as nectar. Such type of substance is produced and made by the flowers only, where at the base of the pistil. And it is the favorite food of all the pollinators, right? So these pollinators, what they do, they move from one flower to the another flower in search of the sweet nectar as their food. And then only this process of pollination occurs. Means what? It is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther of a stamen to the stigma of the pistil. Okay, so the pollen grains, when the pollen grains get transferred from the anther of a stamen to the stigma of the pistil, this process of transferring the pollen grains from the male part to the female part is known as pollination. And then these flowers develops into fruits, and then they form seeds by the process of pollination. So, therefore, we can say that this pollination is the very first step of reproduction in plants. Now, when pollinators go into suck up the nectar. Now, they are explaining the whole process that what does happen is, first of all, these pollinators go to the flowers for what purpose? To suck up the nectar, right? What they do, they brush against one another, and then they get the pollen grains stuck on their bodies. All right. And then when they land on another flower, the pollen rubs off its body to the pistil. Right. Now, if this pollen grain end up near the opening at the top of the pistil, then those pollen will make their own way down the pistil to the ovary or to the egg. And when this egg and the pollen meets or fuse together, then the seed is formed over that particular place. And now the seed has everything which it needs to form a new plant. So this is how the whole pollination process takes place, and the new plants can be grown by this process. Okay, that's all for the chapter. This was all about the flower being the reproductive part of a plant. Okay, I hope you must have understood the chapter. You must have understood the importance of flowers in the plant and also for the production of new plants and trees around you. Let's meet in the next session with the new topic of science. Till then, keep learning, keep going well, and thanks to everyone.